I am absolutely on fire as we explore Janine and what Janine has to offer and what the world has to offer to her. And so, Rebecca, just look out. We'll see what happens next. Until then, ciao. Join us on Mondays only on 100 TV.
Welcome, everybody. We're not exclusively on 100 TV anymore, but I'm stalling a little bit with that little video clip because today we're going live with branded sessions as we record them for Business in the Raw Season 2. This is truly raw and unscripted, and so raw that I neglected to send Janine the link in any kind of timely manner, but she is here backstage because she's a rallier. We get things done. And without further ado, I will bring this lovely lady to the live stream stage. Welcome, Janine.
Hey, welcome. And the fans go wild because it's never again.
Lady, sorry about that.
Oh, it's all right.
We are trying to get organized over here at Stone Fruit, and it is a one step forward, two step back process.
It's going well. It's all good. It is totally great. How are you?
I was going to say, I finally got Kathleen on board to really help us organize the show, and then I dropped the ball on making sure you had the proper link today. So, thanks for being a part of it. Regardless, that is the fun of live streaming.
It actually is, and I knew it was happening. So, you know, what difference does it really make when we're only an email or a text away? Yeah, I knew that you were moving like 100 miles per hour. So anyway, glad to be here. Glad to be entering this season 2. It's actually awesome. Feeling really good about it.
You're an awesome entrepreneur in residence, Janine. So much so that I couldn't not continue on with season 2, and this is where we're really working on the assets that you need to effectively market your business while you do a bunch of behind the scenes logistical stuff. I heard some good news over the weekend that you're getting a little support as you get your technological footprint up and running. So
that's it. Yeah,
I think that is awesome. Today, our agenda, my darling, we have 2 things we're trying to get done. The first thing is you and I are trying to break down a little bit of the barrier of live streaming and get back to the natural cadence of our recording when we think no one is really watching until the replay. Yeah. And we've been experimenting here with live streaming our sessions because why not? And also, can we do that and still maintain the intimacy of the sessions that we had recorded privately in season 1 to then produce it more like a TV show? Right. So, yeah. Agenda 1, can we do it, girl? Can we bring back that intimacy? I know I have a hard time not having on my host face when I know I'm broadcasting live on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. So I'll try and...
It's a work in progress. I mean, because I agree with you. It's not easy, when you know that you're on, not to put on sort of that official face. But I know you were working really hard to just continue peeling it back. Even when you feel it coming on, it's almost like this veil comes over you. You just go, you know what? No, we're doing this live. We want folks to, when they do have an opportunity to receive what we have to offer. I'm going through what you're sort of walking me through. They can see the real us. So, and I think we've done that even in season 1, but this feels just a little different, and I'm glad for it.
It's fun to be experimental. Plus, we're putting the raw back in Business in the Raw.
That's right.
It wasn't. I mean, there was a rawness to the quality of our content, but we weren't. In my opinion, we could go an extra kind of brand step and also be raw with recording the session. So we're being experimental, and I appreciate your flexibility, baby.
Hey, I'm all in. Hey, it's about me, it's about us, right? And it's about how you have designed this show to give back, so others can see actually what you do, how you do it. So I love
How
that.
the
The
work
raw.
gets done.
You say what?
How the work gets done. How the sausage gets made. I guess.
That's right, exactly. And I love the rawness to um, the quality and content that hasn't changed. So let's get rolling.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, that's what I was
Agenda
trying to think of.
agenda two. Yeah,
Ah, ah,
let's get
yeah,
rolling. This isn't the stone for a roll up. This is business in the raw. We're not
this is
rolling. Just
yeah.
kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, our second agenda today is to really dive into LinkedIn. The big picture here, Janine, is like we need assets, we need stuff. And by assets, I mean we need a website, we need some social media profiles, of which you're embracing. We're not going to just launch a bunch of new social media profiles just to launch them, but LinkedIn is part of that story. We need some descriptors. We need a YouTube page, we need photography, we need a logo, we need a brand look, we need all the things that give folks a kind of a look and a feeling
Yeah.
to latch onto, and a vehicle for which you can communicate and distribute marketing towards the end of your brand. Last season we came up with what is the brand exactly, what are our values, who are we marketing to, what's the business model, what's the vision, all of that. That's really hard work. This season now we have to bring that all to life in the stuff.
And the stuff and the assets and the look and feel. What is it really like, and how closely it should match to everything else that we've done in season one. So I think this is a good place to be. I really do. I've been thinking about my own career, over the last few weeks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it that we're really going to highlight? I know a lot of this is part of your process, but I also have been thinking about what things should really be highlighted in terms of building sort of the capacity, if you will, or the capabilities of Janine's sound experience. What from the past, can also be applied to, to what I'm doing now. So I think this is going to be fun. Great exploration.
Indeed. And that's why I really like starting with LinkedIn, honestly, because it's such a unifier.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're a professional person out in the world and you don't have a LinkedIn, at least just a placeholder,
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe. Everybody has a universal experience of what LinkedIn is. Some folks are more in it and some folks are less, but I've noticed with you definitely host and comment and participate in a lot of different conversations on LinkedIn. You have this really rich and robust tapestry of your career that we can
Mm.
tell the story of. So this is a great place to
Yeah,
start.
I
The
agree.
link the LinkedIn is also awesome because we can do a bunch of things to kind of leverage it as an asset. We can get your URL and redirect it to a LinkedIn business page while we build your landing page out or your website out. We can use it as our kind of like central hub for all the things while the other assets get developed. And if
Yep.
we kind of started with a website, it'd just be weeks and weeks before anybody could actually go to anything. So this is a great workaround for folks who are just kind of starting their marketing program, not program, their marketing mix, and they need where's the most practical place I can start? I think LinkedIn
Yeah,
answers that question, particularly for you.
totally.
So,
I had to say something just yesterday, and I was going to text you this, but just yesterday, a former colleague of mine sent me a LinkedIn post message that said, "Hey, Janine, I think your voice will be great for this one project, and blah blah blah. And hey, can you send me your demo?" And so obviously, I have a link to my demos from my other, the other business, the Legacy Story Gifts. But I want to be able to point folks to the LinkedIn and keep everything. If I'm getting messages there and I'm sending out messages there for now, let that be the hub. So again, it couldn't be a better home, if you will, for make connections. Yeah. I was
exactly.
really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited. Wow. And guess what? We're headed down this path right now because I wanted to be able to say, oh, yeah, and just point to something and go, yeah, which I did. I mean, overall, it's not like I didn't have demos. It's a totally different story. Say, you know what? I don't have demos. But so it was great.
I'm glad you have at least something to point them out, and that's come from your own proactivity. I mean, you have a lot to be proud of that you just made sure that those files were available, because kind of waiting for your marketing partner or your, brand coach to come around and finally get to LinkedIn, and you're taking some matters into your own hands. So be proud of yourself for having your portfolio pieces. I know I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Because before all this started, it's not as though I wasn't dabbling in voiceover. So I needed something to present to perspectives, as they say. At the same time, this happened at the right time, but there's no way this could just be moving along without doing some other work in the background. So yeah, I think the timing is perfect, and a lot that's been accomplished over the last few months. Since March, April of this year. There's no way
Yeah.
I could have, I could have attempted it. I was going to say attempt. I could have attempted it, several months ago, but not at all have been as successful as we've been together using your, formula and guiding. So it's all worked well. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for that validation. And I love this partnership. It really, means a lot to me professionally as well as personally. And the rapport we've developed over the past few months has been amazing. We're dating. And I just love spending time with you. So,
I love
yeah.
same here. And here we are in this LinkedIn space again. It just totally it makes sense. I'm glad we didn't start with the website because, like you said, I mean, we've both been involved in various spaces, where websites are getting built, or and that whole phase of work can take quite a while, if you don't already have some of the other stuff, other content, not just stuff, but
Exactly.
other content, ready to go. So, okay, so
It also,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it also gives you space to have just a landing page because you have another hub while the website gets kind of built out. If you only have a landing page, like, it's better than nothing. But
Right.
if you've got kind of like, send me an email directly or find me on LinkedIn, it just gives folks another chance to engage with your brand while you're doing the development. So,
Thank you.
yay.
Awesome.
So we blue ribboned our idea for being here first, darling, as
We sure have.
usual. And I thought today would be a great day just to we're really kind of getting ready to get ready. But what we're getting ready to get ready about is I want to walk you through the anatomy of a LinkedIn profile so that you have a sense of what we're doing. And this is something I do for every client before we do a LinkedIn profile makeover. So just show you the pieces of it and how it works and what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you your personal page and kind of my plan for that. And then what a really good business page can look like even in the beginning days of kind of getting one started, because we're going to do both a personal page and a business page for you, how we're going to link all that up. And then you'll have a little bit of homework to do around some keywords, which I'll get you set up for success on. You're really just a matter of discernment. This is a great keyword for me. This is not a great keyword for me. And we'll get started on the actual writing, starting with the headline and the about section. And then we'll be doing the Janine Sound experience piece as well. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So today's really about kind of getting comfortable. I know you're comfortable on the platform because you're here a lot, but just seeing where all the little spots are and what a good page is going to look like and what to expect.
That's great. Yeah, examples are always great, and I know you have plenty. So, pulling them
Okay.
out of the box.
All right. So let's get into it a little bit. What I'm going to do here for folks at home and for you is I'm going to present. I'm going to share my screen. We're just going to walk our way around a LinkedIn page, like I said, a profile and also a company page, and I'm just going to talk you through it and get us set up as we would do, as one would do.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
LinkedIn, and my big thing with LinkedIn, Janine, is that it just doesn't have to be boring. It's not required by law that LinkedIn is boring. So while I find the platform itself can be boring, I'm on a mission to try and turn that tide a little bit. So
That's awesome.
That's
Thank you.
that's my that's my agenda. Okay. So LinkedIn, just to take us back to basics, really kind of works very similarly to a Facebook page or a social media page you're used to. When you're at the home site, you're just really seeing a feed of, articles and posts, some of them sponsored, some of them from your network that are just kind of scrolling along, which allows you to, just digest the LinkedIn content as you would any other social media stream.
Right.
There are a few things to note here while we're on LinkedIn. You've got kind of a messaging feature. Sorry. Within this feed, a few things from your profile are going to show up whether someone's on your page or not, and that's important to look at. So if you see kind of my profile here on the side, you can see that this headline, championing marketing badassery for business accelerators, etc., that follows me kind of everywhere that I go. So making sure that we get that headline piece, really, we're really strategic about it. It's not just like CEO and founder of the Janine Sound experience, that we
Yes.
really leverage that real estate in a powerful way. And I'm going to kind of show you how it works. So as we're kind of just going, this is just my feed, random, nothing. I didn't set this up or go find a special place for us to look at. So we're really just looking in real time at my LinkedIn page. And you can see here that Lauren, who I am a first connection with, made a post here about a retreat that she did with Jilly called Unapologetic Retreats. And you can see that her headline here is showing up right underneath her feed. So I am connected with Lauren, but even if I weren't, I would see what that headline is.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful because, when let's just say random Joe or Josephina Schmo is on their own LinkedIn feed, and because you, Janine, do such a great job commenting on other people's posts, if
Yeah.
you do that and you guys have somebody in common, they'll see your comment. And
Mm-hmm.
so I may not know Lauren, which I do, but someone may not know her, but they know Jill, and they're going to see her headline,
Yep.
creating unignorable brands for impact focused leaders, and know immediately or very close to immediately what Lauren does.
Yeah.
And if that sparks an interest, then you can make a connection there. So it's real estate not to ignore. I don't mean to pick on anybody here by finding a bad one, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Kylie, I really enjoy hers as well. I help women love the work that they do. Like I immediately know who she's for
Yep.
and kind of that she's in that space. So that's
Yeah.
super helpful. We're not talking about the content here, folks. It's really just
No.
about the title. So for Mina, she's a coach and an educator and an executive coach. I'm really at this point with her, she's kind of falling apart a little bit for me. God bless you, Mina. We're going to fix this because I have such just a minimal understanding of what she does. If I'm not immediately looking for an executive coach, I might easily skip over that,
Yeah.
even though I happen to know she's in an entrepreneurial space, which is interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
You know,
Zach.
I just want to say one thing, and I've noticed those, and that's considered a headline. I want to use the right terminology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've noticed increasingly people are really seems to have done more work on their headline over the years, but a lot
Yes.
of what you're about to sort of walk through, it is a very unique uh, practice, although very needed. But I'm noticing people that I'm following, sort of outside of my normal sort of space, that I know exactly who they are by that headline. And it really helps, particularly new people that I want to follow for one reason or the other. I'm looking at that headline and I'm going, oh, okay, that's what they do. Okay, cool. Yeah, easy. And it makes easy to follow. Do you know what I mean? Instead of thinking you got to read their whole profile. So yeah,
100%. You
thank you.
got it. You nailed it exactly, Mama. You nailed it. You nailed it exactly. So we're gonna do the exact same thing for you. Let's get us both. Let's get us both here. The exact same thing for you when we're doing your profile. So bear with me. My StreamYard seems to be a little laggy. Okay, so here we are in Zach's. I did write this, activating entrepreneurship and visibility for ambitious. That's enough. It's enough for me to kind of get a sense of who that person is. I really want to find just a kind of bad one if I possibly can. So bear with me, Janine. Let's see one in the wild.
Cool. This is great. It's sort of a walkthrough. It's almost like, when you're trying to write a new resume, you're updating your resume, you go to look at examples of those. So this is good. I think it's a good practice.
Yeah, if I can just find somebody crappy at it in my network, we would really see it. I wrote that one. Good Lord.
I love those people.
The beauty of the lag in live. Okay, so I'll try and look for one as we go through here, and I don't want to waste too much of your time. But essentially, now that you see, what this looks like when you see somebody who just says CEO of something, it's hard to identify what that might be. So again, I'm really kind of like desperately looking for somebody who's not doing it right, and so many of the people in my network are doing it right, which is great news. But when you see one in the future that's like just like CEO of company, and there's no way of knowing what the company is, you'll see that's when someone's kind of not paying attention to that headline. So that headline is super, super important, and that's the first thing that we're going to look at. So I'm going to just take you to I'll just take you to one that I've recently redone. Because it's a nice chance to see one in action that isn't my own. I often feel kind of hesitant to share my own as being like a best in show, because you're a marketing person and a branding person and a copywriter. Of course you can be this fluffy. Well, yes, I can, but I'm also going to show you how you can do it without, the benefit of being like a creative service person, and you can still have some personality. So let's look at Michelle's a little bit. So what we're looking at is you've got this kind of like background cover card opportunity. When people don't do this and they don't put an image there, LinkedIn just drops kind of this default like blank space, and it looks super unfinished when people do it. I think your profile looks unfinished if you don't have a cover card behind here. Even if you go in Canva and make one, even if you just use a photograph from your phone or something, just like anything, a picture of, your garden on day one to like, in spring to fall, or anything at all to just show some sort of personality that you have within your kind of brand, your personal branded approach. Even if you don't have a business, you do. Michelle does. I do. A lot of people we've looked at have a business, but you're an entrepreneur, you're a corporate person, or you work a 9 to 5, you're in a job. That doesn't mean you can't have some sort of a personal branded feel. And it kind of really starts at the top with this card behind here.
I love that. Love it.
You want to make sure you have a decent professional photo, something that truly is a headshot, not like you cropped with a solo cup having, fun at a party from 1992. Like, just something that really is going to show your personality visually a little bit. Luckily for you, Janine, you don't have to worry about that at all, because we did photographs with Taylor Campia, and we're going to be able to populate this with some beautiful photographs. And we'll be working with a graphic designer to give you your branded cover card back here. But I just wanted to see what that was. Over here is a little bell, just for folks who want to know when you click on that. Mine was clicked. You're going to get notified when this person does some posts. So I point that out to you, Janine, in case, when you're doing future lives or you're talking with people, you can always give this call to action of, highlight the little bell and never miss a post from me about whatever. Okay, so right underneath Michelle's name is her headline. The headline requirements for LinkedIn are 120 characters if we're doing it on a desktop. So we can't have a 4-line headline that, just amplifies everything we're doing. We have to be very, very smart about what we're saying. You have to remember, when you saw other people's headlines in the feed, you're kind of getting that like ellipsis of ... So, the first 5 words mean the most.
Yeah.
because you're not going to see all of it every time. We have 120 characters here. There is a hack to get 140 or maybe 220, but a significant amount more headline if we update it using your phone app. I kind of
Gotcha.
like to adhere, unless I really desperately need it, to the shorter version because it keeps the words tight.
I
Just
like it.
keeps it tight. Just keeps it effective.
Yeah.
So Michelle's here is exactly 120. And we did the work of doing some keyword research in advance. You and I are going to talk about that because that's the homework.
Yep.
And we were able to kind of put, a little. Her number one keyword is bookkeeping. So we
Got
really
it.
front loaded that in the beginning. Is financial steward going to be a keyword? Someone like, show me a financial steward. No, that's part of our brand. However, the financial part is keyword heavy. So you want to kind of think about that. All of those elements. Does this tell you who I work for and what I do right off the break? Does it do it in 5 words? If
Love
somebody
it.
saw it out of context, would it make sense? Does it
Yeah.
have words? That kind of thing.
Got it. Yep.
Okay. And so underneath this on her profile, she's got her business here. She's got her recent college. She could add more if she wanted to, kind of at this, at this stage. We can kind of go in here and tool around, but I think we'll get to that when you and I do the optimization and we do an upload and we go through and we like life hack LinkedIn to the best of our abilities. Right now, I
Yeah.
just want to show you what everything is.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, so the next most important place that we're going to look at is this about section, right?
The about. Yeah.
The about section, to me, in my formula, I really do it in a very formulaic way without being formulaic. And by that, I mean, everybody has, like kind of 5 to 7 paragraphs, a list of specialties, and then a call to action kind of at the very end here. I structure it that way because I want to give readers something to read, skimmers something to skim, and then make sure that we have a call to action at the end of it. So if you're the kind of person who wants to engage with a potential partner by reading their career arc and narrative, it's here for you. If you're the kind of person who's like just the facts, QuickBooks Online, virtual CFO, assessments, chart of accounts, bill pay, vendor management, all of those words are in there.
Love it.
For like the, kind of black and white, like analytical thinkers, and then the narrative for those who are not. These here, everything in this specialties list is a predetermined keyword. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the break that I am not an SEO expert by any means at all. There are probably better ways to do this keyword placement. I really look at it from a contextual perspective of what do I think people will actually search for when they need someone like Michelle or they need someone like my client. So I feel I got a disclaimer a little bit, not make sure that people don't think I'm some SEO keyword maestro. I am not, but we do get intentional about what keywords are. The reason we get
I just want to say something that, a few years ago when I used to work in the social media space, one thing, I mean, it's one of the quickest ways for people to do it, and it may not be, it's not evidence-based. I mean, you literally are going to Google and you type in a word that's associated with what you're trying to sort of describe here, almost like synonyms of the work that you do. And sometimes Google will fill in the next few words of what it is that most people search for using, I'll just say financial. Would it be financial advisor? Would it be financial, whatever the other few words are? And sometimes that is what it's already telling you this is what a lot of people search for. So that's just
that's a great tip.
Well,
I didn't know that at all. You brought something fresh to the table, Mama. I did not know that.
We'll see when we get an SEO expert at the table. So,
okay. Well, you'll help me in that arena, I suppose. But this section needs to be keyword happy. Yeah. The reason why is that Google and LinkedIn play so nicely in the sandbox that it benefits you to really think about the keywords that you're going to use, and then either do it yourself or find somebody, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who's really, really good at stuffing keywords into a natural conversational narrative style.
Yeah.
so that it doesn't look like, well, one, doesn't read like AI wrote it, and two, you're effectively communicating and keywording at the same time. So
Mhm.
you got to have a little bit of attention what those are. When we get to keywords, I'm going to share a little bit more about how you and I are going to collaborate on that. But
Yeah,
it sounds like you're going to show me a thing or two about how to find those words. But essentially, I start as many as I can brainstorm and give it to you in advance, and
yeah,
then you discern. Green for this is a top keyword, yellow for maybe if you've got room, and red for never use this,
yeah.
and then we'll kind of determine what those are in advance. So I'll show you what
Love
that
it.
looks like.
Yes, it would be.
Okay, and so that is really your about section. Again, your about section is only going to show really kind of like the first, 3 or 4 sentences at all. So you have to, again, kind of like your headline, be really conscientious and thinking, if somebody only read these first few lines, what would they be able to discern about me? What would they be able to tell? I'm reloading here to kind of reset the default of LinkedIn so we can kind of look again at what Michelle's looks like when it's just the default page.
Ah,
I, I got a lot of tabs. Janine is taking forever to load
wow.
for some
But
things.
no,
So
but I
bear.
think it's okay. I know it's loading, but I like that you write for the people who really want to read, those who just wants the facts, and then those who are skimmers. Because sometimes you're all those people, but at different times. You're looking for somebody, and you just want to know, do they do this thing? Is does bookkeeping rise to the top, or do they do, I don't know, do they consider themselves a financial guru? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I like that because the about can be hard.
It's definitely a challenge. I think that people erroneously try and write the about section as like a summary of their resume, and I try and write it. And everybody's different, so this is just my style. But I try and write it in a way that's like, these are the hills I die on, and this is kind of my process and my methodology, because there isn't really an opportunity to do that. And then the regurgitation of your work history happens in the experience in spirit. Bleh, the
Mhm.
regurgitation of your work history happens in the experience section. So it's not like if you don't say
Uh,
it in about, it's not going to have a space. It has a space to live. So I'll expand this again and kind of show you that style. But we
yeah.
really have to make sure that just the TLDR is at the top. I'll read you, Michelle, so you can hear it. Safety and security, we all want it for ourselves and for our businesses. In a world that is constantly changing, it's hard to know how to be future proof. We need partners, perspective, people, and processes to keep us grounded, and that's where I come in.
Mm,
If that's all you read and you know that she's in financial space and bookkeeping, you know enough about Michelle to keep going.
yeah.
If that's compelling to you, this is where I come in. Now I am the small business specialist that does this thing. It's, here's why, it's my job to, here's who I help, this is what we do together. Our work has these results. I'm a strategist, a
Mhm.
specialist, a growth partner. You kind of end it all in a cute little way of saying,
Love
in this case, I'm saying, will hardly need to lean in my emergency problem solving skills, because if you set everything up in advance, you don't have any crises. So you
I love
gotta kind of wrap that up, put your specialties there, and then your call to action. The call to action should then again reflect and remind you what the about section has
Mhm.
already told you, in case that's all you read.
Yeah.
Safeguard impeccable back-end financial infrastructure for small business. Get the kind of bookkeeping that supports innovation, adaptability, and growth. Become a champion for your own financial future. If you just read that, that's intriguing enough
You
for
bet.
you to understand what Michelle does. So I'm trying to set up the about section kind of at the top, at the bottom, and just strategically think about, how do I get all these keywords, maximize this real estate? We have 2,600 characters available in the about section, and not a stitch more. There's
Uh-huh.
no life hack for getting more. That's what it is. And honestly, again, I really like it because the
Too.
force constraints of the real estate keep us efficient.
Wow.
It's
I
not
love
2,500 words of like blah, 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 blah.
and again, and you say characters and then not words. And that's, that's a huge difference when you have to think about, okay, what do I want to say here? And I love that your first, I don't know how many characters was the first portion of it, but it requires almost an agreement with the person that's reading this. It's like you look at this, you go, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
you kind of click into the other, and then you're selling, selling, selling. At least that's how I read it. I'm sure.
exactly. No, exactly right.
I love that.
Versus again, I started a typical LinkedIn about section could be like, I am the financial blah blah blah. There's just a resume quality to it that I think loses interest. This is a storytelling approach, in my opinion, that because it's based on keywords, we really can't go wrong.
Yeah.
They're all kind of fit in here. Her, financial steward, system strategist, bookkeeping specialist, accounting, operations, streamlined. These are all optimized. These are all kind of accounting words that we define in ahead of time. So that is your about section.
I love it. And again, I'm sorry to sort of keep going back to that because my interest was piqued at those first few sentences because you also make it inclusive. You say we something.
Yep, that's right. We all want it.
We all want it, right? And I'm going, yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm looking for. Really, we need partners, perspective, people, and processes. I love that to keep us grounded. I love it. Yeah,
Aw.
I get you.
We'll look at a few other ones too and kind of identify the formula because they're all different.
Yeah,
But
this is
thank
good.
you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, so the next section of your LinkedIn, you can't do anything about.
Mm.
It's just your activity. So Michelle's not tremendously active on LinkedIn. We're kind of something we're working on, like kind of through some coaching. And now that she has her profile redone, she's a lot to be proud of and is more anxious to be out here. But
Wow.
this activity window shows kind of all the things you've commented on. We'll look at one more robust. And
Uh-huh.
now we're into the meat of it, really. This is your experience section. Now, many people just have kind of your business and one paragraph. I'll
Mm.
show you what one of those look like. But when
Oh,
I was learning to do LinkedIn profile makeovers, I learned this awesome hack where you can nest things underneath one job. And so the person who showed me how to do this would call them zones of genius. And that's really how I'm structuring your LinkedIn profiles, to identify what your zones of genius are and
wow.
then create a paragraph narrative for each of these. Because this is her own business, in my opinion, that's the first thing you need to say. It's so
Oh,
much different than if she just worked, not just worked here, but if she worked here, like this is her company, and that's kind of the number one thing.
yeah.
And then we start identifying and parsing out for you. They're going to be around probably commercials, adult education and learning,
Mhm.
legacy stories, things
Yeah.
like that just really start to break up the unique specializations of your business. So for in her
Yeah.
case, financial management, optimization, and bottom line performance improvement, financial systems design and implementation, small business financial wellness checks and assessments, strategic outsourcing and vendor management, creative problem solving, and new initiative development. And then
Wow.
we write a little paragraph about each. This
I,
language is wholly different than her services of her website. Her website is like 3 stages: assessment and the wellness check. Stage 2 is planning for, the system. Stage 3 is monthly maintenance. All of that is written kind of like marketing package style.
mm,
This is like kind of, just a little bit more buttoned up. So I'm not taking her services page and replicating it. I'm writing it for this specific platform. That LinkedIn is more, business, thought leadership, and acumen than it is selling a cleverly put together package or offer, if that makes sense.
yo, it totally does. And you called it the zones of genius.
Zones of genius. I didn't make that up. I learned it from my mentor and I've heard it before, but that's how I
Oh,
think
cool.
about them.
Yeah. Mm.
Her old business that she just left, or that she just kind of rebranded, That, virtual CFO and business operations, bookkeeping and CPA liaison, virtual events, conferences and outreach, leadership development, idea factory. At this point, this was the maturity of her entrepreneurial journey, which is
Wow.
impressive. But
Wow.
now, as you're seeing them stack on top of each other, you can watch Michelle grow. The difference
Yeah.
between these two businesses is not they're similar in many ways, but they're also, you're just watching a maturity happen as we walk backwards. Kind of same thing. A project manager here.
Mm,
She owned a sauce company. She was a consultant for my company. Like, we kind of lost the development of the LinkedIn profile at this point, which happens. It's a lot of work to do it from nose to tail, but
absolutely.
you can watch her progress.
I like the way that you sort of framed her experience, even through her journey of her own entrepreneurial journey, because sometimes it's hard to show that transition. You feel like you have to put it all under one umbrella. It's like, well, it was me. I'm the same entrepreneur, but I just find that really interesting because I think that's something, to some extent, that we'll have to work through.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I'm going to show you another one here that is fully
right.
developed in that arena, and you'll have another inspiration. So bear with me while the screen lags tremendously.
Hey, it's technology.
Hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
I probably should have restarted it. Okay, Carrie. There we go. Come on. Carrie is one of my LinkedIn profile makeovers, and then turned into a client, which is so fantastic. So hers is fully developed to like her very first job. So she's an interesting one to look at because you can watch that career development happen at a
Oh,
very high level kind of corporate space.
I'm looking forward to digging into this one.
So her headline is different. Yeah, her headline is different. Align people, processes, and tech with company culture and core values, operational optimization, strategic execution, and customer experience. These are more keywordies than Michelle's is.
I
So it's
see.
just your
Yeah,
personal brand, kind of how. Oops. Am I still sharing Carrie's,
you are.
Janine?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
you are. Hmm.
Okay. So under her, she has an extra section on her page called featured. We haven't turned that on for Michelle because Michelle hasn't started writing thought pieces or publishing or have a podcast yet. But when you do, you can add a featured section that will kind of carousel some of your stuff. So for you, you might have individual projects here, portfolio pieces,
Yeah,
things that you want to feature on your LinkedIn page. So that's really nice.
very nice.
And then her activity is more robust because she does more than Michelle does. Again, no tea, no shade.
Yeah,
This is just two different brands. So,
that's right.
and then her about section kind of splits a little bit. We honestly should take this font, this organizations, and move it up just for the visualness of, you only have so much real estate. But
Hmm.
it's not terrible. Brand loyalty. I have another. We all want it. That's hilarious. There's no greater key to key performance indicators of business success than a dedicated base. Organizations who prioritize the customer experience, seek operational excellence, and intentionally orchestrate their customer journey, great customer engagement, repeat business, and team retention. These should probably be one paragraph because that's the thing you lead and ahead of time. And so
Hmm.
for hers, because bookkeeping is more straightforward and understandable, where we could really talk about how Michelle's process is different, we have to do a little bit of education with Carrie because she's a consultant at this like very high level for the customer experience and in aligning your operations and your service delivery model and all that to go with it. So for
Interesting.
hers, we do a little bit more education. Happy people can't help but attract. You can see how long the lead up is. That's where
Yes.
I come in, is way down here.
Yeah.
Build culture and organizational resilience by baking continuous improvement and elevated business principles into the DNA of frontline management, workforce development. That's not something people are easily grokking as much as they are. Oh, bookkeeping, I
Right.
understand that baseline.
Got
So
it.
for her, yeah, it's a little bit longer. I am the holistic problem solver that knows how to identify and manifest innovation across many arenas, blah, 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 blah. She's got her list of specialties, and we're missing her call to action. So I'm going to have to get back with Carrie and figure out where that is. But we're missing her call to action.
Yes.
Her then experience, here she is. This is her own company, CEO design, her zones of genius strategy right out here, customer experience strategy, operational model design and implementation. Let's get through all of them. I'm not going to read every single one out loud, but we're going to scroll down here and watch her career journey stack. And this is the approach we should take with you because, you know, you have a many splendored career journey as well.
Many
So we've
splendid.
got this, we've got her kind of zones of genius out here.
Mhm. Yeah, I like this.
And then we go to where she was working full time for a company. Vice President of Operations. She revamped the internal support model, a new product launch, department efficiency and effectiveness gains, enhanced escalation process. Now her job before that, Chief Operating Officer, CRM management, post-acquisition integration, transformation agenda. Then the career before that, Director, Consumer Experience Roadmap, Consumer Transparency Roadmap, Service Delivery and Operating Models. If we keep going through with these zones of genius, you can really watch her career take place in bullet points and then
Yeah.
also in interesting. Carrie, I know you're not watching, girl, but we have all this copy already done. Where is it, Mama? But you can watch her career kind of come to life there, and this is how
Yeah,
we'll do that
yeah.
for you.
You know, it's really interesting because I don't know, when she at the very top where you focus a lot on the obviously what she's doing as an entrepreneur, right? Was there a point in her career? So I love the layout because the layout allows you to showcase who you are now. But like me, I started the voiceover business while I was still working in another career space, right? But that zone of genius allows you really just to highlight that piece without getting into the what do you call it, not functional, almost resonate style. What style is that
Yeah,
where it's just but chronological, without
exactly.
even though it falls into some type of chronological flow. um you're not caught like you are in a regular in a resume where it's like, well, gosh, but I was doing this at the same time that I was building, my my own entrepreneurial my own company,
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
it's not confusing because
Yeah.
it's not this like lateral layout.
Yes.
I'll show you another one here because this is a whole different industry. This is my sister Taya. She really works well with law firms and service professionals, where she owns the whole life cycle of a contract. She went to school to get her MBA. We have not updated her LinkedIn profile to reflect her MBA, but it's
Yes.
interesting to kind of look at her zones of genius as well. I don't start with we all want it, but I do start with I come alive helping ambitious high achievers keep up the daily activities of their practice, agency, or organization so they can focus on running the business and making plans for the future. Like that's really
Yeah.
that's the TLDR of it. So you really want to have that kind of up and in advance. And then her experience with her consulting practice. Again, we have to update this to reflect her MBA. So that's kind of changed and evolved a little bit, but still worth looking at. The 4 R's: research, review, reporting, and recommendations, surge staffing, project management. Let's get to all of
Mhm.
these.
So can I ask you, as you're
Mhm.
going through this, I know Taya, you mentioned that she recently got her MBA, um, but her experience really reflects someone who probably was really working at that level
Level.
of
Yeah.
someone, who had that understanding. So is it necessary? I mean, could it not just fall in under education and, it's kind of assume, well, of course, and I got my MBA, or you mean in the top section where
In the top section. Yeah.
yeah,
And
okay,
also her consulting practice now has evolved. I mean, that was, we did this 3 years ago,
okay, I see.
really right during the pandemic. And now like there's nothing here about the owning the life cycle of a contract, which she
Oh,
got through her
got it.
MBA. So we need to do some updating. Her brand has evolved as
I
just
understand.
beyond getting her MBA.
Thank you.
So that's, in this case specifically about Taya. So she got her done with you, her done for you, interpretive communication, lawyer talk. This is my favorite entree. I speak lawyer.
I love that.
Then when we get to her job, provider arrangements program manager, provider relations contract specialist, legal assistant down here, it just starts to build the arc of her career. And when we update it, it will feel like, oh, I'm dealing with, somebody who's got this great experience. I want
Yeah.
to point out at this point where it says Tea Leaf Consulting, how we have this box, with
Yeah.
two buildings here. To me, that looks just like unfinished and just kind of empty, blank, spacey. But
Yeah.
LinkedIn won't let you put Taya could not at this point go because she has a logo. Clearly, when we get back to her main page, you can
Yeah,
see
I
that
saw
there's a
that.
logo that's been developed. You can't put a logo in here manually. It only comes from ways. So we would have to build a business page for Tea Leaf Consulting in order for that to be filled in. So that's one argument for why you build a business page. And let's look at that, and let's look at business pages next.
All right.
Are you cool with that?
Oh, absolutely, because these are personal. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to now take a look at the business page because sometimes
Yes.
I can't tell the difference with some folks, I think.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the anatomy one. They're much more simple, actually. So this is Michelle's personal page. That is why the headline, when appropriate, the about section are all I language. I do this. This is where I come in. This is my job. Then her experience section starts to talk about her business, which is Unleashed Financial Advocates. And the first entry, which is the founder and CEO part, is in I language. I started this business because I love working with these kind of clients on these kind of problems. And then the zones of genius transition to we language
Mm-hmm.
because we're building a company. I am sorry, live streaming audience, if there is any, or in the replay, that it's just taking me a really long time to share my screen. I probably have too many tabs open. I probably should have done a restart. I probably should have a more powerful computer. I probably should blah, 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 blah. But for right
You sound
now,
like you sound like many of us, huh?
I am
Been,
struggling to
we've been
get it
there.
loaded. Okay, good. Okay, so here we are on Michelle's page, kind of again, just because we're familiar with it, instead of starting with a new one. She's got her business behind her. She's got her own headline. That's I language. The about section is all I language. The experience section, loading. We need a voiceover thing that's like loading.
Exactly. Exactly. Loading. Yeah, exactly.
Loading.
Either yeah. I love it.
Okay.
And okay,
Now,
so this is Michelle's business page.
so this is Michelle's personal page. We're back on that.
Okay.
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 And now,
Okay.
if
So
you see her experience, she has a logo here where Taya
yes.
did not. Because she has a business, because Unleashed Financial Advocates has a business page and they talk to each other. You cannot force a logo in there if, look, audience at home, if I'm wrong about this, please tell me. But as far as I know, as far as I've been trained, you cannot, unless something's changed, you cannot force a logo into that spot. You can only get a logo in that spot if you actually have a business page and you link the two of them up. So now we're going to look at her business page when that loads.
Because it's almost like that the business page validates you having it on your personal page. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
you nailed it. That's exactly right.
yeah. Okay.
You nailed it. Now I'm an admin on this page, so what you're seeing currently is different than what you would see as a member. So I'm getting over
Okay.
to that member view so you can take a look at it. So now we are on a business page. This is linked up again, exactly like you said. They're connected to her personal page. If she had employees, they could also connect to this page. Like, I'm
Oh,
the, I'm the, administrative assistant to this company. I could create an entry that's like, I'm the marketing manager for this company, and it would link back to this page. So it's not just one-on-one. As the Janine sound experience grows, maybe you've got voiceover artists who are creating their own entry for the Janine sound experience and linking back to your business page. And
ah,
that's what this is.
got it.
Like a personal page, you have a few things that are similar, but it's really much less of a lift. Actually, you can
Hmm.
put a business page together in like a day, and it's really about feeding it than it is about setting it up. But I'll show you all the pieces of it. You've got a headline. Again, we're limited in characters. We can't have more than $1.20, so you want to make sure that you kind of think about what those things are. She's got, a call to action button here to visit her website, and we'll kind of take a look
Hmm.
at that at the very end, because it's just a landing page while her full site is being built, and should launch actually any day now, should launch any day now. But for now, we just have a one-page landing page up, which is a good
Okay,
strategy for somebody
it
like
is.
you.
It is.
So then her about section, same thing. You have 3 sentences to get somebody's attention. This is not the time to be like, have you ever thought about the way that, you have to like really kind of come at it. So for us, Unleashed Financial Advocates delivers balanced bookkeeping, business strategy, and financial management through the lens of stewardship, protection, and preparedness for untethered adaptability and unrestrained value creation. Fucking boom. That is
Wow.
like it.
Yes.
Then you can go into, here's our unique framework. Here's, how long we've been in business. Here's how easy it is to kind of get disorganized, but we're here to help.
Mm,
Kind of life is too short stuff. So we've got, a certain amount of characters we can do the overview about. It is not something people automatically just like click on and read, but to have nothing here feels anemic. You can
yes.
add, your website, your industry, your company size. And then when we get into the mechanics of the upload, I'll show you how to do all of this stuff. But from the outside, we plugged in some set values that were prompted by LinkedIn. So it's kind of like in the back end, you're like toggling your own keywords, bookkeeping. Like,
Yes.
so I did not write this list with commas and then copy and paste it. We went and identified the top 20 skills that she had together, and we called them until we had 20 of them up, and then it fed it here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it in essence its own or LinkedIn's own SEO version of the business that you say you're in?
You're so smart. That's
No,
exactly what it is.
I don't know.
Girl, that's exactly what it is. You
Okay,
got
all right.
you nailed it. You nailed it. Absolutely.
Okie dokie. This is
Absolutely.
this
Okay.
is great.
Okay. Now let's go back to her. We're going back to home on the business page, because
Mhm.
again, about is only gonna, expand when we tell it to expand, as you can see here.
Wow.
Then you've got a section here that's really about your page posts. So you can kind of scroll through them this way. As we post for you, this is where things will just really kind of show up. That's the
Wow.
end of a business page. So it's really home,
I love
about your website. If you have jobs, people who work there, this should show Michelle if I click there. So remember when I was like, oh, okay, you might have 10 people, Janine Sound
yeah.
Experience, creating an entry. They
Right.
would all, if you clicked on people, they would all show up. Right now, it's probably just going to say Michelle
Yeah.
eventually with the spinning load.
I love this, and I think just sort of circling back to the beginning of this session, this conversation, is that this page really does serve you. Would say will serve me well, and that is just enough information to know who I am and sort of hitting those high points right away, which differs from that personal page. So
Exactly right.
nice.
Exactly right. And so you can create kind of a relationship. I'm just going to show you how this page is built out a little bit. Again,
Yeah.
I don't expect you to like remember how it all happens, but it's just a slow drip over time with copy, graphics, images, ideas, things like that to start to create a branded feeling. So I'm going to
Um,
scroll through fast a little bit, and then we'll kind of go back and look at what each thing it is we're posting. But I just started this page, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago,
I love
and
it.
this is really where it's at to kind of start. So, from a branding perspective, we started by positioning. We positioned Unleashed Financial Advocates. We then positioned Michelle as her own person. We
Mm,
identified what the keywords were going to be. I wrote
mm,
about section. I wrote the headline. I then created all the stuff for Unleashed, and then we created this page here. And now it's my job, just happens to be my job to feed this business page and keep it going. So we got our graphic designer who had created a logo for us and the look and feel to create about 6 or 8 of these like cards,
oh,
these branded cards
I love it.
that we
Yeah.
use on the website, that we're using here on LinkedIn, that we'll use in emails, that we'll have a postcard printed from. Like, it's just got all these legs that you can use in so many applications. And then I kind of write a little piece to go with those. This next one is Michelle's birthday. So I had a picture of her and it just kind of ties it back. This one
Yeah.
here, she had done like a vendor fair and we shouted out her partners. This one was another one of those, graphics that we
Love it.
had done. This is her avatar. Zelda P. Money's Worth is her name.
Oh, I love it. I
And
was
things.
going to ask you, does she have a
She does. And then what I do is while we're waiting, because right now they're like just like 5 or 6 followers on this page.
yeah.
As you're kind of waiting for that to happen, if I can get the comments to show here, you can toggle between yourself and the brand and just start having some conversations. So, I as myself make a conversation like I would as if I wasn't running this page.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
then I toggle back as Unleashed and I respond to myself. Michelle comes in here and makes a little bit of a comment. So it doesn't have to be
Oh,
so dry.
oh, I love it.
So this just
Oh,
really this is me, this is me, this is Michelle, this is
yeah.
me. I'm
You
just
know,
speaking as the brand.
this sort of ties into, remember we were talking about Renee, we were talking to Renee Hastings and
Yeah,
what is it, executive,
help
uh,
now.
okay, executive help of Renee Hastings of Executive Help Now. And we were talking about VA because she owns a VA company, a virtual assistant. And in my interest of having a virtual assistant, one thing I'm looking for is to enhance social media and blah blah blah. But to have someone who's able to jump in, they know your voice, and that they're able to post for you on your behalf, as well as, to get a conversation going, to include almost a real conversation, but that person is even adding to. I love that. I just love the whole concept. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, especially when you're wait. Here's the thing. I mean, it's like the lure of a dirty table in restaurants,
Yeah,
where like you only want the things that people are already participating in.
that's
And so, if
it.
you go to a business page and there's no dialogue whatsoever,
Yeah.
like people aren't going to be so anxious to jump in and dialogue. So sometimes you just gotta feed your own tip jar like we did in the bartending days and
Oh,
just
yeah.
start kind of placing some things in there. People don't like, you're invited to business pages and business networking groups. Like, I don't know about you, but my LinkedIn is like, the DMs are one of two things. It's either, I connected with you and I'm going to try and sell you something right away, like buy 20,000 leads for
Yeah.
16 cents by outsourcing to, wherever. Or people who are inviting me to like their own stuff. And because we're so oversaturated with that,
Yeah.
if there isn't any kind of real fucking human interaction on the
Yeah.
page,
Yeah.
I just don't know the motivation to follow it.
Yeah.
So
It.
give yourself a little bit of boost on there. I wanted to look at one that is kind of broken a little bit. I'm gonna call Tony out because it's a little broken. This is something we're working on, and there's some things in here that are an easy fix.
Yeah. Love it.
If you look at his background here, it's not a branded cover card. We didn't have to get a graphic designer to design something like Unleashed or customer experience design or any of that, because we just took a picture of headphones and a laptop and called it a day. Like you can do something like that. Here's a really good example of a headline that doesn't work. Multimedia production specialist at Sherm. Like there's so many opportunities to be like branded storytelling and audio gold for blah, 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 blah. Like, we are working on this, so I'm calling it out, and we're updating it, but this is something that's not really, that's not really going to work for anybody. I did write this about section, so this should stay and be solid. But then you can see where there's a real kind of disconnect as he stacked a new job on top of this one without following the formula. So I show you that to show you like, okay, this is an incredible makeover, but what happens when you get a new job and I don't have Rebecca in my pocket anymore? This is kind of what happens is, just we're flowing along in this beautiful kind of flow of zones of genius and building a career arc, and then the next job is just stacked on top of there. So I just want people to think like more less in the moment and what happens in the future if I'm not planning on being successful. What he did here is when he updated his LinkedIn profile, he just updated his headline by toggling and update my headline, and totally zeroed out what we had written before and just automatically placed his title kind of here for Sherm, when we could have done like podcast production, we could have done 1,000 kind of other things in order to do that. Here, his company page doesn't have a business page. If we click on it, it goes absolutely nowhere. So he doesn't have logos dropping in from any of his other experiences. So there's just a little bit of something that's kind of just unfinished about that. From kind of taking a look at it.
I love this.
So that one was worth looking at.
Yeah, it definitely is, because I just think there are a lot of, I'll speak for myself, to be able to see what the possibilities are of even, in the space that I'm, working toward. Yes, I have a personal page that needs work, but also building into a business page, it just helps to know that, hey, there are other folks out there who are also, making transitions, because it doesn't happen all at once. I mean, he got a job at, it looks like, Sherm, and like, hey, I want to showcase that, highlight, because that's who I am right now. But while he's still doing other amazing things, but yeah, so everything, often everything is not going to be demonstrated all at once. So yeah.
Exactly right. So one, give yourself some grace if it's not happening all at once, and that's two, recognize that if you're going to blow the lid off how your LinkedIn profile presents, it's not something that can't be, kind of sustained.
Yeah.
So like Taylor, this is another great example. I wrote this one. You can see Make a Scene Media, where she's got like all her zones of genius and the little paragraph and stuff. Then she opened Taylor K Photography, which has been open for 3 years almost, and we haven't updated it. So now this is kind of stuck in there without, business owner and owner. First of all, they're exactly the same thing. No offense, Taylor, we're going to fix this for you. But like, we should have professional portraits. We should have like documenting a pivot or a life transformation. These zones of genius under her photography business could be really fleshed out. But instead, it's just they're kind of not. So that's the danger of having a copywriter redo the whole thing, and then you have to move on. You have to move on with your life. So either you're going to bring that person back to, continually update it, or you're going to just try and at least mimic that style a little bit so there's some
Yeah.
continuity. But if you don't, it can sometimes stick out a little bit like a sore thumb when it doesn't have to
Yeah.
at all. I mean, Taylor certainly deserves an updated LinkedIn page. So we'll
Very
get you
cool.
there. We'll get you there, friends. So now let's look at yours quick like a bunny, Janine.
Please, yeah, because yeah, this really prepares me for and see this right here. You can really change this. There's a lot
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I really do because examples really help for me to start. Oh my God, I made those same errors because I was, tooling everything myself. So this is great.
Exactly. So, you've already kind of got you're kind of straddling between the headline that isn't as effective or optimized as it could be, and one that does still communicate what you do. A voice for women's health and wellness kind of drops off a little bit. So I'll give you like a solid B on this one, Mama. It's not the default, but
Please.
we're gonna innovate that one.
I
Awesome.
want to see alphabet all over this. A, B, C, D, and F.
You've got a little pet photograph behind here. Fantastic. Like, it doesn't look unfinished. Again, you don't have to have a graphic designer to fix that. Your headline out here, like I said, we're gonna innovate it, but it's not, it's better than Tony's, frankly. So we got that. Your featured section here, where you're featured. By the way, this real life, full life womanhood, where you did that podcast takeover, that is one of the highest viewed videos on our YouTube channel. By the way, I want you to know that.
Do you know? So we could talk about that. It's really interesting to me. So, and exciting as well. Yep.
Yeah, it's really kind of robust. All right, so your about section, and this is what most people do. They lead with their resume and their experience. I have this many years of whatever. I don't think that matters anymore in a modern world, like post-pandemic. I don't care you've worked in it 15 years or 15 minutes. I want to see what you can do. So this is a narrative that we'll want to switch around a little bit. It's just something we lean into because it's comfortable. Narratives, leading with your resume. Signaling the private health. I mean, you've got some good keywords in here. Cultivate and nourish relationships for sustainable. And this should be your headline almost. I cultivate and nourish relationships for sustainable and dynamic change and help organizations stand out. Like, even if we reordered that with like, I help organizations stand out as agile and collaborative entities, cultivating and nourishing relationships for sustainable dynamic change, vertical pipe, communication strategy, or whatever. This line here is really powerful. It's just kind of nested in a place that doesn't have a lot of visibility.
Yeah.
Then, owner, Janine Sound Experiment, self-employed. We're all going to experiment. Jeez. So sorry. Experience. We're going to flesh that out. We're going to add your zones of genius. We're going to give you a company page so your logo shows up. All of that is going to happen.
Oh, wow.
You've learned how to add some media to your posts, which is fantastic. At the very, very end of this, before we leave, I'll go back to my page and show you how some media can be nested and how that.
Oh, wow. I'll need that.
Will further optimize your page, but you know how to do it, so it's already there. The image is broken, but it could be a long lead. Yeah. I'm just like focused on job titles, and I focus on roles. But that's not I'm not punching down at anything. I'm just saying.
No, this is great.
Volunteering. Excellent.
Yeah.
HIV prevention. I don't know if you know, I was in HIV education and prevention when I was in a nonprofit.
You were? Oh, we have to talk.
We might know some people.
Because
should see.
I was going to say, because the community, is it's really tight. I mean, so if we were operating around the same time, we definitely know some of the same people.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, a lot of times, I know them. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're here at recommendations. I'll go through how to optimize these, other sections when we get to a load. But
all right.
hey, that's my girl. But Yeah, I would say you don't have something here that is a turn off because you're fulfilling a lot of your kind of like what is expected with a LinkedIn profile, but we could be giving this a lot more personality and vibe, and we will, and that will be our
And
job.
we will. Gosh, I'm looking
Exactly.
forward to this. And again, your examples, I know I feel like I'm just drilling it down to a little bit too far. You can't even see the top of the screw anymore, but or the nail. But I love the fact that you showcased a number of examples and sort of, just picked out some of the highs and lows, because then I started thinking about my own. So I hope other people are doing the same thing. I'm sure they are. But
I
yeah.
hope so too. LinkedIn. I mean, we're on LinkedIn right now as a live. Wow, we're gonna go really meta because my cover art is this video that's happening right now. So this is
Well,
a place where people can really move the needle and put in a little effort and make a big impact on their marketing mix. So, in my opinion,
yeah.
it's worth it. I have a lot of resources about LinkedIn that Kathleen could put in the show notes. Kathleen, this is a bagel moment. Then we can put in the show notes. It's like, I go through and I highlight kind of like the top 7 areas to be looking at, headline, about section, blah, blah, blah. I regurgitate this stuff. I have examples of great ones. I have an article on how not to be boring on LinkedIn. I've got some
Mm.
resources here that we can share. So I think this is a good show. I don't know who's watching, but
No, it is. It's a
enjoy.
great.
Okay. So I just wanted to show you a couple things on mine. I by no means have the world's greatest LinkedIn profile. It needs to be rewritten just like everybody else's. I'm repositioning Stone Fruit, so that's got to change. There's a lot of, this thing is dusty. I got to dust it off and kind of give it another polish. But there are a few sections here that we could just look at so you can see what one would look like. Your
Okay.
featured carousel is, again, a really nice place to put the things that you're, really working on and want top of mind. For me, I'm seeking interviews for people with Renegade Serenade to talk about disruption. So here's that top kind of call to action. I'm highlighting 12 episodes of Business in the Raw. So this takes you to that landing page. I want people to apply for live coaching. So that's kind of at the top. And then the rest of the things start to nest in this carousel. So you can change that and I'll show you how to change it. But this is that featured section, which is really nice.
Got it.
Oops.
Love it. I love that feature section because I can see. Now, is that where if you have blog activity that was directed that goes back to your website or whatever, would it be featured there as well?
You can put anything you want. Like we'll add one here just to show you.
Okay.
If hopefully it's the lag isn't going to be too crazy here in a screen share, but
I hear you.
if you click this plus sign you can add something, and I encourage anyone at home to click your own plus sign and see what comes up, because it's like add a website, embed a video or a link, add a piece of media, add an audio file, add a podcast. Like there's just so many things you can use in your featured section. These two are landing pages, and this one with you is directly to a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So the feature section really allows you to put just about any kind of media you might be interested in, and then write a small narrative to go with it. This one here for Business in the Raw was a length. Like I didn't have a lot of opportunity or real estate to write more narrative, but the other two kind of pull from a page. So you just want to play around in there and see what's available. Now the blog posts and things, that's happening here in activity as you comment and make posts and things like that. If people only want to look at my comments, they'll click on this tab and see, this is an important piece. Like how you comment and interact on other people's stuff tells you a lot about who someone is. And so, am I a taker? Am I snarky? Am I generous? Am I contributive? Am I whatever? So if I just click on comments, I get a sense of who I am. Oh, Janine, from your lips to God's ears. I need that scarf and sunglasses. What customer experience design? Of course. Like, am I a positive, vibey person? Am I snarky? Am I just doing it for my own clicks? You can tell a lot just from looking at the comments. Videos, if I just want to look at that, it's going to give it all to you kind of in a library. I don't have a lot of videos uploaded
Wow,
to
you have time.
LinkedIn directly.
Yeah.
Well, Events, there should be a lot of events because we're going live like 3 times a
Oh,
week.
that's
So there's
interesting
tons.
because when I commented on you having a lot of videos, I view these as videos, and I know these are, various podcasts, but what would you consider a video?
Like if the one I played at the beginning here, that was Paul's thing of like season 1 of Business in
Uh,
the Raw, that I
yeah.
could have put up there. And I could have
Oh,
put it up in my featured section as well.
okay.
Okay. So now we're in the experience piece. Like I said, I need to kind of rewrite this stuff, but I
Yeah,
lost my visual. Hang on.
it's
Live
coming,
stream audience. Underneath each, well, I'm right back to myself. This
which is a perfect place to be.
dude, it's so crazy when you see, like, then you come up and you start talking, you hear it in your headphones, you see it on the thing. It is like you feel like you're tripping on acid sometimes.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Okay. If I can get back to my regular page, then I'll show you how you can nest a little bit of media underneath your zones of genius and really kind of round out. Don't be unresponsive. Get back here.
So persistent,
I probably needed to restart my laptop. That probably really needed to happen.
Well, that's and we can all learn from that because I am someone who usually has about at least 15 tabs open at the top and trying to do everything. Some of them are YouTube and all kinds of stuff. So it happens.
Yeah, dude, exactly. And I have 3 browsers going.
Oh,
for 3 different email addresses. So
oh
it's
yeah.
just like
I totally
tabs
get
upon tabs upon tabs.
If
Right,
anyone's watching, please raise your hand if this describes you.
I hope so. Well, I have lost my LinkedIn and it is dropping down and has completely dropped me out. Oh look, we do actually have a comment. I thought we had
Really?
0 watchers. Yeah. Well, I'm also in the screen share looking at LinkedIn, so I don't know what the comments are. And also, we're just trying to like create the recording for future Business in the Raw. But we'll see what people are saying.
Very cool.
Why not? Let's take our moment. Damn, my laptop is struggling. Janine, thanks for your patience.
Are you kidding? We're in this together. Trust me, because if I were behind the scenes, it would be the same thing. But now I realize, okay, Janine, you need to shut stuff down. Like you said, reboot. What are some other tips we can offer to Janine and others? Yeah, reboot your computer for a session. The thing is, you often, you're like up to the minute, right? Up to that minute, you are in the midst of something else. You just finished a call. You have this coming. You do everything you can to kind of shut down and to restructure. I know for me, I have to restructure my desk, have a different notebook out and things like that. But often, you're just jumping right into it. So it is what it is, right? I'm not sure if I am still, and if I'm the only one on right now, but if so, I just have to tell everyone that it's been a very interesting experience to sort of walk through the LinkedIn pages. And if anybody's watching either now, but particularly in the future, this will be a good time for you to drop in what are some, what you learned from that session around LinkedIn, because many of us, we start out, whether or not you're an entrepreneur or you're starting your own LinkedIn page as a professional, we're doing it ourselves usually, unless you're with some organization that helps you, sort of with those tie things together on your page. But for the most part, we're in it by ourselves. So we do the very best we can. And then I think a session like this helps us realize, wow, but there are people out there that can help us, sort of navigate through and to, to build it so that when people read it, it's a much more powerful read, and they're getting what they want from the actual LinkedIn page. That's why they're seeking you out. So
Janine, you kept it moving.
You better believe it. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so amazing. You kept it moving. I don't know what happened to me.
Yeah, that's all right. We're in it together. But this has really been a great session. I'm telling you, it has. I'm glad you started the way you did. and just walked us through those examples. It For me, it made a huge difference. So we'll see.
I'm glad, because I hate to just go right into the development of it without showing you what we're doing or why it's important. Plus, that's the point here of Business in the Raw. So I just want you to know, Jilly says that she is here and that she loves the nesting that we were doing with the Zones of
Oh,
Genius.
great.
And I actually met Jilly through the person who taught me how to do LinkedIn profile makeovers. Also, in the comments, I know earlier I saw Susan Collins come in from Texas, who's one of my favorite people and she really is supportive with these lives. I can't read what her comments said because I got booted out and they've been kind of rejected in my screen, but I'm sure they were geniusy,
I'm sure
insightful, engaging, and innovative, incredible.
and every other.
So
And
thank
very
you to
cool.
Jilly and to Susan Collins for coming by here and being a part of our grand experiment to live stream these
Great.
sessions.
It's been great.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you have such, not just kind, but engaging followers. And then many of them become either clients or friends. And I think that's what it's all about. It really is. Because we're learning. I learned from your and sessions that you have. And I need to watch the last one. The rewilding.
Rewilding, yeah. Where
Yeah.
I'm going through this myself
Yes.
with Jilly on Thursdays at the Stone Fruit Roll Up for 6 weeks, and we're doing episode 5 on Thursday. So if you're watching this in the replay, be sure to go back to the Stone Fruit channel and check out the Rewilding series, where I'm in the hot seat,
I love
learning how to rip up my resume and start again. And then you're back in the hot seat most Tuesdays through about February as we live stream the filming of season 2, and then season 2 will get released as finished and polished episodes around the subject matter. So this is just our grand experiment to see if it's worth it to, while we're recording, we might as well just go live with it. Why not?
That's right. Why not?
And come up with something special. Let's see when our next date that we see each other. I feel like it's not this Tuesday coming up.
For some reason, I think it was on the calendar, but you may want to go back and confirm if you want the 14th.
It's definitely not the 14th because I have us on the calendar. That's a lie. But I can't do it, girl, because my bestie Michelle, whose LinkedIn profile we just went through, it's going to be here, yeah, for a visit. So I've got to kind of skip that one.
Michelle, you got me out of the hot seat for November 14th.
You sure did.
Then the next one is let me see if I can find it. Right.
I have us on the 21st, but that is Thanksgiving, so maybe you don't want to work that week either.
But the 21st, I think if I said yes to it, then I think it's doable. If it's doable for you, then
it's doable for me.
Okay, then I think I said let's make it happen. I had only one date that I shared with Kathleen that I'm asking that we change the time or the date. So that's it. But next week we're off because you're hanging with Michelle. And the financial and bookkeeping guru.
That's right. We'll be doing a VIP day and also being besties. We're planning out her content plan for 2024. So it's time to start blogging and putting out articles to supplement all those great graphics and build out her new brand. So that's exciting. So we will see folks back here on the 21st. If you're looking for something to do Thanksgiving week, Janine and I will dive into this LinkedIn stuff. Janine, your homework is going to be as follows. I'm going to put together as much of a brain dump as keywords as I can come up with. There could be 50 keywords on there. And then there'll be instructions on the homework for what I want you to do is color code a certain set, red, yellow, and green. Green meaning these are the top 15 or 20 keywords that must be in there. Yellow meaning, hey, that would be nice to see it, but I'm not going to die if they're not there. Red being, please don't associate this word with my brand for any reason, anytime. Which is just as important. It's just as important to know the no's as it is to know the yeses. So I will get that to you by the end of the week, and then you'll have a good solid week to work on those. You're just identifying them, discerning which ones are important, and adding ones that I haven't thought of, because
Okay.
there could be a bunch of audio engineering stuff in there that didn't even occur to me that you can add in, and then I'll use that to format your as we move forward.
That's great. That sounds great. I'm looking forward to the homework, and I love delving because it reminds me of the values. I think exercise. It's just so much fun because you learn a lot about who do you say you are. How do you want to show up? So
Yeah,
yay.
exactly. Well, I want to show up for you.
Oh,
I
I will show up for you. I will show up for you. You are showing up for me. So
I want to show up for you and continue to here on Business in the Raw. I am Rebecca Gunter, your Peach and Chief at Stonefruit and your host of Business in the Raw. And you are our esteemed entrepreneur on fire in residence, Miss Janine Payne.
thank you.
Janine, where can people find you on LinkedIn right now? What's your handle?
My handle is Janine Payne 25.
I love it. So connect with Janine on LinkedIn, and you can watch these updates happen in real time. You can also connect with me at Rebecca Layton Gunter, RebeccaLaytonGunter on LinkedIn, and stay abreast of all of this delicious content development and how things are going with Janine over there at over there at Business in the Raw. And as Tony would say, smash that like and subscribe button.
I love that. Smash that like and subscribe button. And I need to learn the process. And I don't think it's that difficult in ensuring that when we go live, that I go live as well. Because I know you always encourage it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you how to do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'll show you how to do it. Absolutely. We'll have to set up a screen share where I can kind of show you where to do it, but it's pretty straightforward. It just needs a little advanced thought. So if anybody else is a guest on a future StreamYard, whether here, Business in the Raw, Stonefruit Rollup, or out in the outside world, you can, through StreamYard, simultaneously stream to your own platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. It just takes a little advanced work. So we will do that. Amazing. And then you might as well.
Yeah. Why not? Exactly. Let the world know. The more people that can actually see and hear how this all happens and pulled together, the stronger the entrepreneur or professional you will be. We will be. So this has been great. Great as always.
Okay, Miss Janine.
Hello. And you're going to have a fabulous time.
I sure will. We're unleashing her brand, by the way, on the Stonefruit Rollup Thursday, November 30th at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll do a walkthrough of how we built Unleashed Financial Advocates and all of the pieces that are going in her marketing mix, and give her her own moment in the sun.
I am looking forward to it. I'll try my best to be there live. That's on the 30th at 12 p.m.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Pam.
Got it.
All right, Janine, thank you so much for your time today. I'm sure we'll be talking in between time, but I'll see you again on the 21st.
Yeah. Okay. See you. Bye.
Thanks, honey bunny.
Bye. Okay, thank you. Okay, bye.